I'm turning to you. What are your views on this issue? So choosing between lawyers and engineers in construction arbitrations.
Thank you, Stella, for the question, and thank you to the organizers for their invitation. It's a really pleasure to be here today among these distinguished speakers. As we all know, and as you said, the right to select an arbitrator is particularly important and a serious advantage of arbitration, and this is particularly the case in construction cases. So the question that comes to our mind is if an engineer is better suited to be an arbitrator rather than a professional with background in law, a professor in law, or rather a typical arbitrator, let's say. To respond to this, I will refer to the ICC report that also Stella mentioned in her introduction on construction arbitration. That report, among other things, also describes the criteria that an arbitrator should possess in construction arbitrations. And it says that it is highly desirable for arbitrators to be familiar with construction contracts. They do not, however, need to be technical specialists, but instead cross-functional professionals who understand both the technical and the legal issues. And exactly this approach, the fact that an arbitrator should understand both the legal and the technical issues of this dispute, is also reflected in a survey conducted by the Queen Mary University in 2019. There, the participants again were asked to identify what criteria should possess an arbitrator in construction cases. 70% of the participants, they prioritized experience in the construction sector, whereas 60% sought a balance between legal and technical expertise. And when they were asked if they would appoint, at the end of the day, a technical expert as an arbitrator, 53% said yes, if the dispute was predominantly technical. 41% said that they would feel more comfortable if the technical expert also held some legal qualifications. And lastly, 24% that said yes, they would appoint a technical expert if ultimately we had a balanced tribunal, meaning that the other arbitrators participating in the panel, they had some legal qualifications. And I think that issue also relates to the choice between a lawyer and engineer. I think it brought to my mind a Greek specificity, I would say, which is the permanent arbitration of the Technical Chamber of Greece. And I will refer to it as the Greek term from now on. So especially in the past, we have seen, all of us, I think, that in the Greek market, that the parties elected to submit their construction disputes in the arbitration of TE. The permanent arbitration of TE has two particularities. The first is that the arbitrators are engineers with a 15 minimum year of experience, but they're engineers. And the second is that the jurisdiction of the TE tribunals is limited to technical disputes. So, as you understand, if a TE tribunal went into legal issues, that would affect immediately the validity of the award, and that in fact happened because several awards were set aside exactly because the TE tribunals went into the legal issues. And of course, as we understand, it's very difficult sometimes to differentiate between what is legal and what is technical. So just to tell you my opinion and conclude and respond to your question ultimately, Stella, in my opinion, the choice between a lawyer and an engineer, it's not an either-or decision. Of course, parties always look at their case and they see if it's stronger on the technical or on the legal issues, and then they choose accordingly. But irrespective of that, in my opinion, the arbitrator in construction cases should first have experience, if possible, in the drafting of construction contracts, or generally experience in construction contracts, and secondly, have experience in international arbitration proceedings. This is not a standard procedure, so not having experience in that, it's not helpful, and it's important in my opinion. And lastly, I think the institutions and the parties should strive to have a balanced tribunal. So if we have an engineer appointed as one of the arbitrators, at least the president of the tribunal, in my opinion, should be a legal professional.